Hello YouTube, my name is Plazukas, and today's video is going to be on Stellar Blade, but we're going to do something a bit differently because I'm continuously trying to figure out what kind of videos I want to make, and I don't want to use whatever the other content creators are using for Stellar Blade. I don't want to use the videos that I've already posted many times now. We'll wait for either an early release, if I'm able to get a copy, or the actual release date on the 24th of April. But in the meantime, I want to continue to make videos about Stellar Blade because I am super excited. So today, we're actually going to focus on the CEO and essential art director for Stellar Blade. Um, he is the founder of Shift Up, which is the company that is making Stellar Blade. He founded it in 2018. He wanted to make mobile games for the Korean market. Obviously, that evolved shortly after that, where he decided to take on this project, which he admitted was a smaller project, could have been for mobile. Shuye Yoshida came in, offered him, I think, a pretty good sum of money, and that's when they started development for the PS5. We'll actually have a story about that in a minute. I'm going to go through some of the things that um, the individual has actually created over his, pretty extensive career. But I wanted to just create some overall foundation. A lot of these companies who are founded by very creative individuals, and some of these people that come to mind are Hideo Kojima, Todd Howard, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Hideki Miyazaki. And I'm so sorry if I'm going to mispronounce any of those names, and I'm going to mispronounce the actual CEO of Shift Up as well, I'm sure. Um, they all have a vision, and that vision can be clearly seen in the games that they make, whether it be the Soul series, Mario, Zelda, Bethesda games, as in Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Oblivion, Hideo Kojima with Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranded. You can see the vision, you can see the creative process, and they're very distinct from the other types of games that are created, which is why I wanted to focus on the actual CEO of Shift Up, who is going to be the art director and probably more than that for Stellar Blade. And I wanted to look back at his past and to see what he has created, um, and kind of go through that process a little bit, try to do something a little bit different. So, without further ado, let's just start off with one of the stories, which was Shift Up CEO Hyung-Tae-Kim. Again, I do apologize. Celebrated the successful showing of Project Eve at the PlayStation Showcase by purchasing a PS5 for each of his 260 staff. If that doesn't tell you how committed they are to the PlayStation ecosystem, to maximize as much as they can, obviously they got to be within budget, they got to be within their talent and their staff. The potential out of that system and what it can do for adaptive triggers potentially, which we didn't see anything like that in the demo that I can recall, or just the hardware specifics of it, seeing how they were one of the, earliest people to develop for the PlayStation 5 early on in its release. They probably had development kits as well. So they have a pretty good handle of what the PlayStation 5 can do. Now, obviously, they don't benefit from having, a more recent development cycle, or they're not Sony first party publishing. So they're going to have a little bit of a learning curve still. And that doesn't mean they're going to be able to maximize everything. But the fact that each of his staff got a PlayStation 5, a CEO doing that is really unheard of. We are dealing with layoffs, we're dealing with closures, and I know this was back in 2019 when they revealed Project Eve, but still, that is a great gesture for a CEO to do that to his creators, and I'm sure that boosted their morale, and I'm sure that gave them the passion and the drive to just continue to work on this game. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. Then we have there's many information here that I have to go through, right? Then we have some of his previous works. Okay, so let me actually start here. Apparently, and please, if I'm wrong about this, I need correct and tell me in the comments. But apparently, he directed and wrote a Korean romance movie, which I have not been able to find digitally because I wanted to buy it. Apparently, it's available on DVD. I may actually do something for the channel and buy this and maybe do a watch along. I haven't decided yet, but the synopsis is basically it's a love story. And he wrote this. And I don't know if that is an indicator of what's going to happen in Stellar Blade, but it seems like, he could tap into all ranges of emotions, including to write a romance um, movie, which is not very common for, male figures in the industry. A lot of these romance movies, I think, are made or written originally by women. The fact that Hyung-Tae-Kim is able to tap into that, emotional side and it was well received. Like it's got a 6.6 on IMDb or a 6.1 on IMDb, which is pretty high. I mean, this is not this looks like a bad rating, but this is like right just above average, which a lot of movies, more movies are rated like this than they are the opposite. So this is not a bad movie, and I'm interested in potentially watching it. He also worked for NCSoft for a time, and he did a lot of the character art for Blade and Soul before it was released in 2012, I think, or something like that. So he did a lot of this. Like a lot of this is his work. Apparently, please don't. Um, I'm not suggesting that every piece here is entirely all his work. There could be other things that are in here that he did not actually draw, but I'm just going to use whatever Pinterest's article was. It says 110 best Hyung Tae Kim pieces, okay? And I don't know how much we can look through this, but obviously this person has extreme talent and style and been very sought after in the artistic gaming community. So much so that he used that leverage, that influence to basically create his own studio, which is not is it's not a small order to do so. That's a huge step. I mean, just as a brief like cursory overview, and I don't know much about art, and I don't know if I can go back again. It stopped me from going back at this rate. Okay, here we go. I don't know how much I can work out this. It's not letting me. It's being very stubborn with what it allows me to see. But you can see how much range this artist has, and he's going to be the art director for He's going to be the art director for Stellar Blade. Now, some of his styles are very similar. They kind of all, they have a similar vein. This looks more like a Stellar Blade concept art from what we've seen from some of the NPCs in the world. And we can see some of that clear, distinct designs. And he also mentioned that everything he's learned is an evolution. Like for Stellar Blade, he's taken all the things that he's learned to apply to the game Stellar Blade. So we've done that. We've done that. This is his Twitter. He posts various things on his Twitter. Obviously, he wanted to talk about the success of Stellar Blade, it being the number 2 on the U.S. PS Store. Talking about new drone skins. This is a new skin that was created for the game. There's so many artistic forward directions in this game that there's no way that he's not basically the lead. being the CEO, he has. I mean, I'm sure he has other directors doing their appropriate jobs and are delegated appropriately, so he can, free up to do his duties as a CEO as well. But I'm sure he's heavily an influence on a lot of these games. Uh, Obviously, we talked about Nikke, the Goddess of Victory. They've also done Destiny Child. A lot of these are very well received games that have distinct art direction that many of the communities that are into that kind of thing applaud and really do put them on a pretty high pedestal. So, and it says here, CEO of Shift Up, art director of Blade and Soul. This was before he, because he worked for NC Soft. He's done other manga stuff, but I don't know how much of that is accurate. So I didn't list that in this particular video because I don't know what is or is not, um, the things that he's worked on. And so let's just look here because this is some of the stuff I have not. So also another thing that needs to be mentioned is that this company, little as it is, Nikkei Victory, Goddess of Victory, really did put this company on the map, and so much so that in December of 2022, it was bought by Tencent. Or a good amount of it was acquired, 20% stake in Shift Up, becoming the second largest shareholder after the actual CEO of the company. That's a huge deal. And whether or not you agree with what Tencent is doing or have really enjoyed a lot of their games, they are a leader in this particular ecosystem with video games. They're not going to go away. They're going to continue to expand their operations, and that investment does help ensure that people's creative visions can be intact, especially when it comes to somebody that probably has a clear, distinct thing of what they want to do. So even with that stake, he's obviously the CEO is very smart with investors. He obviously originated this company as a mobile-centric studio, which I mean, Nikkei Goddess of Victory is still a title that is being supported, and I'm sure they have other things in the works, and I'm sure that's getting multiple different iterations and content drops throughout the course of this year and next year, while they work on Stellar Blade as well, or they finish up with Stellar Blade at this rate, right? So that's where we're at. Like I said, and I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I feel like I'm rambling here, and I don't have much more information for this video. But I want to be different. I want to just create videos that nobody else is doing. I don't want to reiterate information or regurgitate stuff. So I'll leave this video here just to kind of give you an idea of what the CEO, in the vein of Hideo Kojima, in a video, in Todd Howard, all these very revered, very established, very well praised CEOs, creative directors, art directors. I think we should put potentially this person at not that level, but an up and comer for sure. Someone to look for. So if you like this video, my name is Plazukas. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.